The free application for federal student aid is the form that the government claims to help students get into college. In reality, the FAFSA doesn't provide sufficient funding for the price of college tuition today. Not only is the government not aiding in students financially, but the process to complete the FAFSA is so overwhelming for most students that they neglect even filling it out. The free application for federal student aid is a federal program that does not provide sufficient funding for students to get to college. As juniors in high school, pressure of not only building a sustainable resume, but also worrying if college will be too expensive for your family to afford is consuming enough. The government must step in.
Allowing students to get the highest level of education they wish to pursue opens opportunities for each individual, as well as boosting America's economy and decreasing overall poverty rates.
My name's Nora. I'm a senior at Madison Central, and recently me and my mom filled out the FAFSA. It was really difficult. It took us almost 3 days to do it, and she had to get all our tax information from her office.
I tried to do it earlier this week during class, and it was extremely complicated, and I definitely am going to need my parents' help to fill it out.
Ask any college student. The federal student aid application is needlessly complex. As the student loan crisis rages on, billions in financial aid is being left on the table because the process to apply for it is too complicated. The U.S. system for subsidizing college students buries information about the affordability of college within a thicket of paperwork. It delays sharing information with prospective college students about the affordability of college until it is too late. As a result, the impact of federal student aid remains far below its potential.
I'm Shannon Grimsley, and I work for the Get to College Center. And our job is to help students plan, prepare, and pay for college. The cost of the FAFSA or the Pell Grant has not really gone up with the cost of college.
The increase of college tuition and fixed Pell Grant and financial aid amount given by the government makes it impossible for college students to attend college without having to take out loans.
To avoid taking out loans and the pressure that follows to pay them back, the government must provide more adequate funding to students so that students will have a wide range of opportunities available for their future.
I will say that the FAFSA in general, generally speaking, is there to help lower income students.
I don't know how, making $100,000 for a family of four, someone can afford $74,000 for one of their children to go to school each year. So what we say to them is, give relief to those families. Give the money from these investments, and we're going to say, give that to those children.
Not only is the FAFSA a very rigorous process, it focuses specifically on lower income families, leaving out the middle and upper class to pay out of pocket for tuition.
For the typical household, the aid application, the free application for federal student aid, known as the FAFSA, is longer and more complicated than the federal tax return. Especially for low-income populations targeted by federal aid, the lengthy financial questions asked in FAFSA may constitute a daunting hurdle on the road to college. There is also a substantial uncertainty in the aid process, with definite information about freshman year aid not revealed until the spring of the senior year in high school, well after students make choices about college. It is estimated that there are around 1.7 million private scholarships. The largest federal scholarship is Pell Grant, providing financial aid to 7.5 million students. $8.8 billion was awarded in need-based scholarships. In 2020, 58% of families used scholarships to help pay for college.
Not every kid needs a 4-year college degree to do well, to become part of that middle class. But for those who want to go, but those who have the aptitude to go, for those who desire to go and get that 4-year college or even a 2-year degree, college aid and financial aid is often vital.
Financial aid is essential for students to attend a 4-year or 2-year college. The government alone does not provide enough funding to get students to college. 7% of students are likely to receive a scholarship. White students have a 14.2% chance of getting a scholarship, while minority students have 11.2%. 16% of students will receive a state scholarship, while 13% will receive a private scholarship. Only 1.5% of students will receive a full scholarship. These low statistics prove that after applying for scholarships, very low percentages are given to students. The FAFSA is a confusing process that ultimately doesn't provide enough funding to meet the needs of upcoming college students.
Therefore, the government must step in and find a more effective process other than the FAFSA to get more students to college.